The world's richest people have seen their share of the globe's total wealth increase from 42% at the height of the 2008 financial crisis to 50.1% in 2017. This is $140 trillion. The top 1%. It's pretty mind-boggling when you think about it. I mean, just an enormous 1% owns more than half. In fact, these millionaires, who account for 7/10 of the world's adult population, control 46% of the total global wealth, which now stands at $280 trillion. 70% of the world's working-age population, on the other hand, accounts for less than 3% of the world's wealth. While the global population of millionaires has grown considerably, the number of ultra-high net worth individuals, UNHWIs, this is where the real killing is happening. Those with a net worth of $50 million or more. That group has increased even faster. The number of millionaires has increased by 170% since 2000, while the number of ultra-high wealth individuals has risen 500%, making them by far the fastest growing group of wealth holders in the world. The biggest losers, the report says, young people who are not expected to become as rich as their parents. Millennials have been dealt a series of blows, including high unemployment, tighter mortgage rules, increased income inequality, and reduced pensions. And I'd say, and Reaganomics. And now the Republicans want to, double down on Reaganomics with this new tax scam that they are proposing. Meanwhile, this morning, let me just confirm the date on this. No, I'm sorry, this was day before yesterday. Monday morning, activists from the Rainforest Action Network, RAN, dropped a 35-foot banner from the headquarters of J.P. Morgan Chase to protest that bank's investments in extreme fossil fuels. Now, what's an extreme fossil fuel? In their definition, the worst is tar sands oil, second worst coal, right? According to a recent report from Rainforest Action Network, J.P. Morgan Chase is the top U.S. funder of tar sands oil, one of the dirtiest fossil fuels on the planet. Produces 20% more greenhouse gases than conventional oil. J.P. Morgan Chase, according to the press release from the Rainforest Action Network, J.P. Morgan Chase is actually ramping up its investments in that sector. The bank has poured nearly $2 billion into tar sands just in the first 3 quarters of this year, almost a 17% increase from last year. That includes funding for pipelines that slice through indigenous lands, trample on human rights, and threaten clean water. The Tess Geyer, an organizer with the Rainforest Action Network, says J.P. Morgan Chase CEO Jamie Dimon talks a big game when it comes to climate change. Dimon says he supports the Paris Agreement, but we've followed the money, and the facts don't lie. Chase, as the #1 Wall Street super funder of the tar sands oil, is profiting off climate change and human rights violations. Simply put, the tar sands sector spells disaster for the environment, for climate, and for indigenous rights. Meanwhile, Cretin Action has a very clear and explicit call to action. They are reaching out to people. I got this email this morning from Brandy Doyle at Cretin Action. It says, it's unbelievable that we have to protect one of America's most precious natural treasures, the Grand Canyon, from something as dangerous and destructive as radioactive uranium mining. But that's exactly what we have to do right now. Thanks to an executive order from Donald Trump, the U.S. Forest Service has taken the first step toward ending a 20-year moratorium on uranium mining in the Grand Canyon watershed. Uranium mining would threaten ancient forests, Native American communities, and the Colorado River, a source of drinking water for millions of Americans. So the Obama administration enacted a moratorium in 2012 that was intended to last for 20 years, but the Trump administration could lift that moratorium anytime they want. We know how destructive uranium can be. On a nearby Navajo Nation, where mining companies have blasted 4 million tons of uranium out of 500 mines, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention has found uranium already present in newborn babies. Uranium exposure is linked to lung cancer, bone cancer, impaired kidney function, all of which have plagued Navajo people who live near these mines. And now the Trump administration wants to expand this. The Colorado River, fed by the watershed, supplies water to 40 million people in Los Angeles, Las Vegas, Phoenix, and other cities. Hey, you want a little uranium with your water? In fact, the Forest Service has admitted that the federal government will get no revenue from any uranium mining that happens. So we're just going to give it away to these guys. Rather than saving money, reversing the ban on mining would actually force taxpayers to shell out further funds for pro-mining studies. So the Trump administration wants us to give our tax dollars to the uranium mining industry at the same time that they want us to give our public lands to the uranium mining industry so that they can have more uranium for an industry, nuclear weapons and nuclear power plants, that is dying. At least the nuclear power plants industry is dying. It's an industry that is unsustainable. It was a technology that was developed basically to rationalize the construction of nuclear weapons. It was a huge mistake, as Fukushima and Chernobyl clearly, and 3 Mile Island clearly demonstrate. It costs a fortune, and it's just, this is absurd. It's absurd, it's obscene, it's unneeded, it's unnecessary, it's gratuitous. So if you're calling your members of Congress, share with them your concern about Yellowstone National Park.